Hi, and welcome to Toni Time. We have a wonderful family guest here who is going to tell us all about what's going on in ENGINE for the summer months. Tammy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So what's going on in ENGINE?
Oh, there's a ton of stuff going on.
Oh,
so
tell us.
let's see. Well, we have 5 summer camps planned.
Really?
Yep, we have the first one that's coming up in a couple weeks is an animation camp. We just got a grant and we're able to get some really cool stop-action animation equipment, and so we're very excited about that because kids, it's for kids 10 years on up, and they just love doing stop-action animation, claymation. Great. Yeah, the stuff that comes out of their brains is just amazing. We did a couple of sessions back in the April during the vacation, and the crazy storylines they come up with, it's just fascinating. So we're looking forward to that. We have a fashion and textile camp that is going to feature Roxy Sugar, a local celebrity.
Of course.
Yep, she's. It's a Project Biddeford runway, so based on, the series. And so Roxy is going to come in and give the kids a challenge, and then they're going to go off and they'll have a mentor with them, but they'll go off and make a creation, and then she'll check back in at the end of the day and give her advice. And
what a great idea.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that one, and that's going to be also ages 10 on up. So it's a pretty broad group of kids that will get in there.
Yeah.
And then let's see, what else do we have? We have a photography camp planned for kids doing sun prints and cyanotypes and learning about the darkroom process and that kind of thing, because we have a darkroom in our basement now.
You know, I have to stop you there. Darkroom work, knowing how to do that is so great for photography. If you're going to be a photographer, going to the groundwork, to the nitty-gritty is just the best.
Returning to the craft, right? And teaching kids, I mean, most kids, when I say, hey, we have a darkroom in the basement, do you want to see it? Look at me like with a blank stare, and they're like, what do you mean? It's not on my phone? So it's been fun kind of reigniting, the art, the craft of photography. And the program is run by Tina Johnson, who is an absolute gem.
Oh, great.
Yeah, she's a sweet kid. She looks like she's 12, but, she's she's a graduate from Massachusetts Institute of Art, or New Hampshire Institute of Art, and she's got a studio photography degree, and she's just a joy to be around. So she's fun to take a class with.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. We're filling up our basement. We're pretty much at capacity now for studios. We've got 4 artists and 2 writers in our basement doing their work whenever they feel like showing up. And it's become a much more active place. We have an open lab drop-in, and we're getting these kids that just sort of wander in and know how to use the equipment and come in and work on their projects and leave.
Oh, you've created such a place.
Yeah, it's become much more vibrant. I mean, I remember, 5 years ago when we were next to Elements, I'd frequently be in there all day long and nobody would pop in, and it's just been a labor of love trying to, create awareness. And
well, do you think that's from everybody now knows about you, or was it the location?
I think it's a combination of the two. Location, right? When you're opening a business. And I liked the building that we were in a lot. It was a very beautiful building, but people just didn't venture down that far,
No, they don't.
Yeah, so now that we've moved into a new location on what I call Lower Main Street, closer to the mill, we've got a couple restaurants next to us, and there's just more foot traffic, that comes up our way, and so it's encouraging.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's happening with the building across the street?
The Marble Block?
The Marble Block.
Well, I'm not at liberty to say today,
okay,
but we are having an event on July 11th where we're going to give tours of the building, but it's also an ENGINE social just to get together. There's no fee to come. We want people to RSVP so we know how many hors d'oeuvres to make. But we'll have banded horn and round turn distilling, serving drinks, and we'll have some food and music, and it'll just be kind of a fun evening. But the tours across to the building will kind of let people envision what's going on there, what's kind of pending. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to have an announcement at that point that will allow us to, move forward incrementally. So
now, how much larger is that space?
Oh my God, it's 20,000 square feet, and we currently have 6 over 2 floors. The main space that we have is 3,000. We have the same footprint in the basement, so it's 20,000 square feet.
Wow. And what do you have now?
6.
Oh my God.
We're not going to occupy the whole. We're not going to occupy the whole building ourselves. We're going to be looking for kind of like-minded tenants to come in with us too.
Good idea.
We don't need 20,000 square feet of space.
No, I would say you could have a lot of studios.
Yeah, well, it'd be great if we could do that. We also have to figure out how financially to make the building support itself.
Yeah.
So, the reason it's taken this long is that, the financial model of bringing a building like that online, you've got to be able to generate some rent, to support the operating costs, So we've been working on trying to figure that out. And, Biddeford's, it's encouraging and lots of interest and activity, but commercial rents are still pretty low. So, it just makes it a little bit more difficult when you do your financial scenario.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's still a lot of excitement, and I think if we can make the announcement that we're hoping to make, it'll just generate a whole new round of, of activity and hopefully a completion date at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been working hard on this for a long time.
Yeah, well, we were one. Engine was one when we were when we bought the building for $1.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, maybe that was too early.
Yeah, but you had a deal you couldn't pass up.
We couldn't pass it up. I mean, we always said, what's the worst case scenario? Well, we could sell the building if we ever had to, so we've been tenacious about, making the fixes and with the vision still to make this a spot on Main Street that can create all this kind of activity and creativity and so.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a lot going on.
A lot is going on,
Now,
definitely.
explain to me now, you have the studios downstairs where you're at now. And, I mean, you have showings upstairs. Now, how does that work for the audience if they wanted, an artist out there or wanted to have a showing at your gallery?
Oh, well, we've recently changed sort of the focus of our exhibitions, and I can talk about that in a minute, but people would present a proposal. So if they have an idea for an exhibition, if it meets our criteria, which are, fluid to a degree, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
And so, people will come in and ask that question, and we try to be different than other galleries. We try to focus more on kind of the conceptual contemporary side of art, visual art. So the things we look for are a current body of work, an interest in professionalism, meaning they're striving to have a career as an artist.
Yeah.
There are plenty of spaces that accommodate the more hobbyist, type, and those are all wonderful. It's just not what we do per se. But the gallery piece, we're really looking for people who are interested in fashion and textiles, because Biddeford's a textile community, or it has been historically. People that are actively making, so furniture makers, craftspeople, people that are using traditional methods of craft for contemporary art, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, and then also shows that are kind of specific to the area, to the community.
Okay.
So, for example, our July show, it'll open the last Friday in July and it'll run for August, is Laurence Wayand. So Laurence is a young artist who grew up in Biddeford, and she now is in Montreal. She did a show that is called Biddeford Montreal, and what she did was she interviewed former mill workers here in Biddeford.
Oh, really?
Their experiences having worked in the mill. And then she related that somehow to the do-it-yourself, the DIY crowd in Montreal, and kind of some of the same challenges that they face as makers.
Okay.
And so she did these recordings, and the show is going to be a series of little miniature vignettes, and you'll sit in a chair and you'll put on headphones and you'll listen to these audio recordings while you look at her little vignette, her little miniature that she's created. So
great idea.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting and different.
Oh,
and
yeah.
my hope is that we're going to try to align with the Biddeford Mills Museum and offer tours and a workshop in storytelling.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to capture some of, the people that might not normally walk into a contemporary art gallery.
True.
Yeah, but have this nostalgic interest in.
What a great idea.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to
What
that
a great
one.
concept.
But the show before that is it's 3 women. 2 of them use embroidery as mark making and drawing. So if you think about, your traditional sewing, but they're taking that then and taking it to a contemporary art level. So there will be these, one woman, Sally Wagley, does drawings with embroidery of the human body. So, a different kind of twist.
Yeah.
And Cynthia Davis will be doing embroidery of floral patterns onto drawings that she's made. And then we have a young artist from the Rhode Island School of Design who's going to do a storefront installation of surface design. So she's a textile student at RISD. So we're trying, that's an example of kind of how we're trying to tie our exhibits to the past, but with a forward-looking, eye. So
That's amazing.
yeah, I'm excited about them.
It's so different.
It's different. Yes.
And
definitely.
creative. Wow.
Yeah.
So now you have that going on. Now, for example, if there was a painter, an artist that had work they wanted to show, could they come to you? They filled out.
Yes, they could. Yeah, and again, as long as it sort of fits with like the curatorial focus is what we call it, then I'll entertain anybody coming in and pitching me an idea. I'm open to that.
Yeah, because I've had people come up to me and say, "Well, I'd like to go over there, but I don't know." I said, "Go talk to Tammy."
Sure.
So, for example, if an artist came in and you approved it, would you do a showing for them for a week, a month?
We usually run our shows 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, we've toyed with the 7-week model and the 3-week model, and the 7 feels a little too long, and the 3 sometimes feels short, but it's hard because we try to align our openings with the art walk, which happens on the last Friday of the month, and then one every month. So that means we have a 3-week window. And then we switch out shows, and then we put up a new show in 3 weeks, switch out shows, and that kind of thing. So we try to follow that pattern. We tend to extend our holiday show from November through January a little bit longer because we try to focus more on retail and the shopping experience.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so we do a pop-up every November where we bring in local craft and people that are making functional wear so that we can kind of add to the whole, downtown retail experience. Yeah.
Wow, you've been doing this now for quite a few years.
It'll be 7 in December.
7 years.
Yeah.
And I remember when you were that tall.
I've never been that tall, but
Okay, she was this tall.
Yeah.
And Tammy came on the show, and all this was just starting.
Yeah, it has been a while. Too long.
I know. I mean, 7 years, you've accomplished a lot.
Yeah,
You feel like you've accomplished a lot?
Sometimes it's hard when you're too close to something, to really see the progress.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel it because we're more active. We have more kids coming in. We have artists now resident, in the building. So that piece is tangible to me. But I think it's like when you have a kid and you watch them grow and they incrementally, you see them every day, So it's like, but then when your aunt comes to town and they're like, "Oh my God, you've grown so much," that outside perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I do hear it from people like you and others, it's like, "Oh, Engine's gotten to be so cool and big and
Well,
all
it's
that."
solid. It's solid.
Yeah.
It's stable, I think, in the community now.
I hope so, yeah.
I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rock right there. You, Roxy. Those are the 2 rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Heart of Biddeford's doing a great. I mean, there are some stable entities that, if we all stick around, coalesce to make a thing.
Right.
I don't know what that thing is called exactly, but I think it's called vitality. It adds to the community. It may not be, the biggest employer in the city or whatever you other people might look for, but I think if Engine wasn't on Main Street right now, it would become a much more dismal place.
Oh, yeah.
Really, because we try to be open. We're open on Saturdays. I'd love to be open on Sundays. We're a place that people can pop into, and and I'm good at giving directions to things. I'm always connecting people, and that's kind of what I see Engine as, is a place to be creative, a place to have, your ideas worked through, a place to meet other people and to connect people, with the community.
And you've been doing that because I've seen over the years, and watched where if I might have somebody on the show and they had just met you.
Yeah.
Oh, Tammy, she's so nice. I have a lot of that with other people coming in.
Yeah.
So I think that's just...
Well, just today I had had an appointment with this young fella, Chris Miller, who's he's a graduate of MIT's architectural school. He's a product designer, prototyper, furniture maker, one of those Renaissance kind of young people, and those are the ones I collect. I want people like that to come.
Yeah.
Because they add to the community, and so I showed him studio space in the Pepperell Mill Center, and his eyes just got big, and so he's going to connect with the leasing agent over there. So I try to find homes for people that I can't accommodate because I just don't have enough space yet.
Yeah.
But and then they bring their own special talent to the community, and it just creates a critical mass of creativity.
You have such a drive.
Or something going on.
Something. But your drive has, from what I see, we all get tired.
Yeah.
We have our moments where we're like, okay, I need a break. I need to be alone. I need alone time. I need to generate. And I'm sure you have that.
Yeah.
But your drive to create your vision, as I remember driving cross country, and if any of you have not heard that, before Tammy got here, she's driving cross country and fell in love with Biddeford.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
And people are like, why Biddeford? It's like, well, why not? It's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
Great people.
But that drive that you have, very few people have that. I have the drive. You do. I can name a few other people. But it's a passion, and the passion pushes you.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I promote on this show. If you have passion, go for it. And you're the perfect example. Now, off the topic for a minute, you're going to Europe.
We are. My partner, Josh, has arranged the whole thing. I haven't had to lift a finger, probably much to his dismay.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks early August in eastern UK, so we'll be in the Norfolk area. Yeah. And then we're going to drive across the country, which will be an adventure.
There you go again.
Yikes,
yeah. Oh, let's hope she doesn't say, well,
look at that little village.
Isn't that cute? I could do a lot there.
And we'll end up on the other side of the UK in Wales, where Josh's family has roots way back. So, yeah.
That'll be a great trip. When's the last time you took a vacation?
Oh, we've snuck in little things here and there, but we haven't left the country for a long time. It's been, his daughter is 14 now, and we went when she was 9, so 5 or 6 years, yeah. So it's good to get out of town and
it refreshes.
Yeah.
It refreshes you. It gives you a new... I went to New York, I went in November with a couple friends. They had never been to Manhattan, and they said, if I go... And they've lived all over the country and all over the world. They've lived in Africa and Haiti and everywhere, never been to Manhattan. And they said, if we go, you have to be our tour guide.
Of course.
And we went for 3 days. They fell in love. I walked them to death because it's a walking city.
Sure, of course.
But they just fell in love with New York. It was nothing what they thought it was. The rudeness, the dirtiness.
Right.
It's all in your own attitude.
It's always best to go with a local too, right?
Yeah.
Because you get the inside point of view.
Well, I took them to places, East Village, West Village, Soho, Tribeca. I'm walking them all over, and Subway. They were just blown away by the Subway. All the characters, all the graffiti. I love graffiti.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
I would have my house painted in graffiti if I could get somebody to do it.
Oh, I could find you somebody.
I would love to have my house painted in graffiti.
There's a place in Kittery, right before the outlet malls. Their whole building was painted by an artist friend of mine, and they got some pushback from the community, but I think it's beautiful.
Good graffiti is wonderful. Yeah. I have photos at home on my wall that I've taken in Manhattan of I think, beautiful graffiti. And some of it we have here. There's some good stuff I've seen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have the other stuff, but...
Well, there's a difference between tagging and graffiti, which is a whole other conversation. But, you know, there's sort of the illegal stuff that, you know, the tagging that kids do, they just want to make a mark. And that's, you know, based in history, too. I mean, back to the cave paintings and things like that, you know. But the ones that are intentional about their street art, you know, that's a whole different group of artists.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So if anybody wants to paint my house in graffiti,
I'm going to send somebody your way.
Send somebody my way. Yeah, because I have a stockade fence up in front because I have 3 dogs. And I would love the whole house, but especially the top, which only people can see when they drive by. I would love it to be just ocean waves or whatever.
Sure.
But, yeah, I've always wanted that.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Well, Maine actually has a pretty rich street art community.
It does.
The Portland Mural Initiative is part of it. You know, they're doing a bunch of murals in Bayside, and you know they run into issues too with landlords that want to hire them to do a mural, but then want to sort of impose their own like view on it, and so they don't really let the artistic freedom happen. And but it's an interesting culture.
It really is. Now, you know, I have a question now. With ENGINE, and you stand out. I mean, even in Portland, if I'm talking to people have heard
That's nice.
of ENGINE. And I love the tagline, Feed the Engine. That is so good and so fun. But what do you feel makes you stand out compared to other galleries?
Good question. Interesting. Boy, that's a hard question. I should have an answer to that just like that, shouldn't I? Well, I mean, I think we're approachable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty casual, and I'll talk to anyone that comes in the door. I don't try to feign any kind of, you know, it's the gallery, you know, I can't talk to you. And if we can accommodate someone, you know, their artwork, I'll look for avenues where we can, you know, because I know of a bunch of other little spaces and places that they could show their work. And, you know, I'll try to be helpful to pretty much anyone that walks through the door. So I think that makes us unique, you know, I mean, friendliness, you know, that's not always a common thing anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I think Maine does have that more than other places. So I think the accessibility piece, I think our interest in the economic side of it, you know, is different. We're not a commercial gallery.
No.
I mean, we show concepts, you know, we show work that we may not sell a piece of artwork, you know, which always breaks my heart, but I always say that if you're an artist in it for the commercial value, go somewhere else and show your work, because it's not going to happen. You know, that's not what we do here. I mean, it's great when we do sell, but it's more, you know, the connection of connecting artists to an audience that is unaware of them. That's not necessarily unique to our gallery, but I work hard to try to like bring those things together, and I'm always advocating for the artist too. Yeah. You know, we have a policy, right or wrong, that we don't ask artists to donate work for anything because it's hard enough already for them. You know, and I get it. You know, other fundraisers and stuff, you know, want to have artwork. You know, and it's fine if the artist says, "I want to do this," but we don't ask. You know, and so we always pay our artists if we ask them to do. You know, to teach, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Makes it difficult as a nonprofit to make it all work, but. You know, we're very interested in not only the economic engine of Biddeford, you know, and propelling Biddeford forward, but of the individual maker and artist. So the entrepreneurial piece of what we do, if someone comes in and says, I have this idea, I want to make this thing, I don't know how to do it, we'll say, okay, we can connect you with a designer or an artist and, you know, figure out how to prototype it. And then, you need someone to advise you on business planning or, you know.
It's a gift.
Yeah, so then we connect, you know, and that's what I see ENGINE as is an incubator, really, of ideas, whether it's a little kid that wants to learn stop-action animation or 3D printing, or if it's an adult that comes in and says, I don't know how to market my art, we're not experts, but we can say, you should go look at this, and that, and the other thing, and try to like provide that support. So
that's a gift you're giving out.
Yeah, I should have been like a Yellow Pages book or something. Really, maybe it wasn't a different life, inanimate object. But I feel like I'm always, like pointing people in the,
It makes you feel good.
It makes me feel good to connect somebody, and I take the time to do that so many times.
Yeah, and when you're just starting in the business, entrepreneur, any grain of knowledge is important.
Yeah.
So why don't we, you have a job opening, right?
I do.
Could we tell the audience in case they're interested?
We can. So 2 years ago, we adopted the Compass Project, which had started out as a nonprofit themselves, but then became a program of another nonprofit. So the Compass Project is a boat building program, and they teach kids how to build boats, and kids learn soft skills like collaboration, communication, teamwork, using their hands to make something. So our program director, who's been there 11 years, is leaving to go teach full-time special ed, which is great for him, but he just like has all this institutional knowledge of the program. So Shane is leaving sometime this summer as soon as we can find somebody, and we're looking for someone to not only replace him, but also to think a little bit bigger, expand the position into a program director for both the Compass Project and the Fab Lab, which means they have to understand making, using hand tools, using the 3D printers, and they don't have to necessarily be experts at it, but they need to grasp
the knowledge of it.
Yeah, sort of. They need to be a maker and an educator, which is sometimes a hard, combination. So I'm looking, and we've gotten a few good resumes in, pretty impressive resumes so far. So we're keeping the application period open until July 1st, which is just right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, but all you have to do is send a resume in and your qualifications and tell us why you, and then we'll be calling people for interviews.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to lose somebody like Shane.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I don't know how to build a boat. What am I going to do? I can't run that program. So it'll be interesting to see. But we do get good people coming through. I've got a great education outreach coordinator right now, Devin, whom I hope I can have on the show at some point.
We'd love to have Devin on the show.
Yeah, she's wonderful, and she's interesting. A little older than I guess she's a millennial.
All right.
Something around that age, but she brings a whole fresh perspective to what we do, and has certainly opened my eyes to, the way we present Engine to the community, and, this idea that arts can alienate. They can, They can. I mean, if you don't work to bring all kinds of different people into your space, then you're going to alienate a section of the community, and Devin's very interested in reaching out and making sure that Engine is a place for anyone, no matter what you're interested in. That accessibility piece is really important to us.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you want to welcome people in.
Yes.
There's never a dumb question.
No, never.
Never. I mean, so come to Engine.
I can't answer all of your questions, but I'll try.
She's an encyclopedia.
Yes.
Well, Tammy, it's been great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I do appreciate it.
I mean, I love having you on. It's been too long, but, bringing people up on what's going on at Engine. I love the emails you send out, giving the updates. So don't stop sending me emails.
I won't do that unless you can opt out if you want. But
no, I don't want to, because I always want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And, I'm just so... can I say, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I am so proud of you. You have accomplished so much.
It's very nice.
I want you to go on vacation.
Thank you.
I want you to put your feet up.
Yep.
And just observe, absorb.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And don't get up early.
I don't think I can prevent that. That's inherent in my body. I grew up in South Dakota, where land of farmers. When the sun comes up, it's like, all right, got to make the hay. Or do whatever you do to.
Yeah, well, I just got back from Indiana to a family reunion.
Uh-huh.
And I went a couple weeks ago. And Indiana, I mean, you know.
Yeah, flat.
100 degrees.
Oh, good.
No breeze.
Yeah.
My dear aunt had flannel sheets on my bed. And one little fan, no air conditioning.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm sitting there at night in my room in front of the fan, drinking a beer, going, I'm going to die here. I left Indiana. I'm going to die here.
You don't want to die in Indiana. Oh my gosh. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you escaped.
I did. I was there 3 days. We had a great family reunion.
Yeah.
But I know that
Yeah.
I'm standing there at the reunion looking at all the cornfields and all the flat, and I'm thinking, I need to get back to Maine. I need to get back.
Well, Maine is a special place.
It is. I mean, we landed here.
Definitely.
You know, so here we are.
Yeah.
So Tammy, come back again.
Thank you. I
Whenever
will.
you want. Check out the emails. Stop in at ENGINE, see what's going on. And you've heard some wonderful information from Tammy. And if you're creative, you're an entrepreneur, you have a dream, she's good with dreams. So take a walk down there. Don't be shy. So we'll see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.